Hello and welcome. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Street Trading Application panel. We're just going to do a quick round of introductions. I'm Councillor Lois Muddiman and I'm chair of the panel who will be making the decision tonight. And my fellow councillors are?
I'm Councillor Simon Latino, I'm on the committee.
I'm Councillor James Taylor.
And then on this side we have our street licensing officers who will introduce themselves.
Alessandra Ruggirello, Business Regulation Compliance Officer.
And on this side we have our legal team.
Tezafar Asghar, and I'm the legal advisor to the committee.
Aswa Khan, Committee and Service Officer.
And if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lucy Hannington and
I'm Annabelle Hannington.
Hello, thank you. You're very welcome. So can you turn it off when, thank you, well done. So the way that this works is, first of all, we hear the report from officers, and once they've given the report, we'll ask the officers any questions we have, and then you can ask the officers any questions, and then it'll be your turn to put your case to the committee, and then after that, again, the officers can ask you questions, or we might ask you questions. Then the officers and yourselves will both get an opportunity to sum up at the end, to say anything that hasn't come up or you haven't managed to squeeze in somewhere else. And then after that, we'll ask you to leave the room and the officers will leave the room and the committee, the panel will stay here with the legal team and come to a decision. Okay? That's how it works. So we're going to start with the report from officers.
Thank you, Chair. The item before you is an application for peripatetic street trading, which we've received from Annabelle Hannington. Now, I will be brief with my report, perhaps slightly briefer than usual, out of respect for the agenda we have tonight, and to make sure the applicants have as much time as they want to describe their application to the panel. And so I will start by commending this report to the committee. It is a peripatetic street trading application to allow Annabelle Hannington, who is the applicant, who will employ her mother, Lucy Hannington, and a 14-year-old sister to work with her on a peripatetic tricycle during the festive season in the city of Oxford. Now, the streets have been identified and contained within the appendices to the panel. And as per our peripatetic trading conditions, the tricycle would be able to stop for up to 20 minutes and then it must move on after that time to another location. The locations aren't necessarily set with the street trading consent in the peripatetic street trading consent, in the same way that our ice cream van locations are not set, although it is within the discretion of the panel to set them. The applicant proposes to sell jewellery, pins, badges, 3D printed items, photos, postcards and mini world items for dolls' houses, stickers and bags. And the application, as it's contained in the appendices, I'll just very briefly say it says that trading will take place every weekday in the late afternoon in the run-up to Christmas and other festivals, and for 2 to 3 hours per day on the weekend during shop opening hours. A couple of issues the committee may be mindful of with this particular application is that the town centre during the festive period does have some events running through the duration of December. There is the Oxford Christmas event running on Broad Street, and it will take up the entirety of Broad Street for that time. And there are events coming in and out of Bond Square during November and December. The town centre will, of course, be busier than usual, but that is the point of wanting to trade there. And the other point to be mentioned is that a 14-year-old employee must be licensed by the county council for child employment. And I have put in the report that whilst child employment isn't normally allowed for house-to-house sales, peripatetic trading isn't house-to-house sales, although you might be able to see some similarities in the mode of operation. And that might be something the committee wish to explore with the applicant, and they can probably expand upon that part of the application for you. Well, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your brevity. So councillors, questions for the officers? No? Okay. Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions you'd like to, after hearing that?
No, thank you. I sent round some extra information, but I'm always last minute, so I missed the 2-day deadline, so apologies for that. It's just got a picture of the stall, which we've amended for the city centre because I thought the other one might be
Well, if
too
we-
wide.
Hold on just 1 second, because you'll certainly have an opportunity to tell us all about that when it's when the bit we come to now, which is it's your turn to you to put your case to us.
Do you want me to speak or you?
I can speak if you want.
Okay, so we started off in January of this year, having had a really difficult year with my middle daughter who's got a genetic condition, and we decided that we'd do something as a family to try and relax, which started off as a hobby of making jewellery. And then over the summer, do you want to say what you've done?
Over the summer, we've attended a variety of Pride festivals, such as Oxford Pride, Reading Pride and Tame Pride, where we set up a small market stall and sold our products.
And I think, yeah, I really want them to go out into the world knowing a bit about money and a bit about business. And also, we've had a Ukrainian family live with us in 23 and 24 who were pregnant when they came and then had an accidental lovely second baby recently. And so we want to use some of the money to help carry on supporting them because they're living independently now. And we've tried to have a think about something that might fit in with Oxford as a city and have a little bit of something that will appeal to everyone. So on the stall, as well as our jewellery and things that we've made, we thought there aren't very many toy shops in town, so we'd be selling gifts, toy gifts suitable for all ages of children, ideally sourced locally where possible. And also Annabelle has been very involved in the Oxford Festival of the Arts and the Watlington Photography Collective, so we're looking to sell prints from that as well, that in collaboration with the Ashmolean, they're doing a Turner Oxford scene thing, and so sort of selling things like that might be quite nice. Is there anything else you want to add about that?
Yeah, I do photography outside of my school. It's an extracurricular. I was exhibited in an Oxford Art Weeks, as my mum mentioned, and I'm also taking part in the North Walls Camera Club at the moment, and we'll be exhibiting during March and April of next year with that.
And then we've sourced some other UK products related to cycling and so on, so things like little bike bags, high-vis supplies, things that are good for the local population, particularly up in Summertown, to encourage kind of shopping up that end of town. We had a look at the document that was on the website. In relation, we'd be very keen for an annual licence, although most of the year we'd be doing weekends only because Annabelle's at school still, so she's got to do that. But in the holiday periods, we'd be planning some after school and evening work. Her little sister is very, very chatty and very keen, but we wouldn't let her do it until we had the appropriate permissions. I think there was also a question about lighting, which we've got. I don't know if I can show you the picture or not, probably not.
I'll defer to the legal advisor and the clerk. I do have the picture that was supplied. It came a little bit late. Yes, it did.
Do I have the discretion to say that?
About, sorry?
About the
Oh, yes. So we've got a cargo bike with a flat base at the front. that we're going to adapt with a table on and then some shelves, so it's fully movable and can be disassembled for easy movement around. And it's got a parasol on the top, which again, would, as we move from place to place, would be easy to take down so it doesn't cause too much disruption. It's 90 centimetres wide, which is narrower than the wooden cart we originally were planning to use. Because of thinking about it, I think that might take up too much space in the city centre, whereas this is totally movable on its own and not too bulky.
The picture that we have in our notes is now irrelevant. It's not.
We might still use that, but more in summertime where it's less busy.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you my laptop or?
Chair,
Yeah.
Chair, for you, I have the picture on my laptop that they've sent in of the tricycle now. If I was going to share this, what's the best way to share this? Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So again, while we're waiting for that, just for my understanding, the idea is you'd have two, they're not vehicles, but you'd have two, you'd have two bikes or trolleys. Okay.
Yeah, with this being the main one, and then the other one, if we were selling bigger toys, because it's got a slightly bigger platform, but that would, yeah, be more for summertime.
Thanks.
So only one at one time?
Yeah, only one at one time, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And the one that we have pictures of, the stall, the sweet stall one that we have pictures of, you're going to change the wheels?
Yeah, so our friend said that the wheelbase as it is wouldn't withstand repeated use, so we need to put a metal frame on the bottom of it, and we've got proper wheels for it, but
Okay, so effectively a new chassis almost.
yeah, new bottom bit.
Right, okay. Okay, and will it still have one set of wheels and still be the same that you then pick up and it just has two wheels and you push, or will it have four wheels?
Four wheels,
It'll have, right.
yeah. But I anticipate that most of the time we'll be using the tricycle that's I sent the later photo of.
Right.
Right. There we are. Now
Okay, I think we've sort of moved into questions. Unless, do you have anything else you want to present to us, or should we?
No, I don't think so. Just also to say that obviously we're very keen on environmental impact and inclusivity of all groups. And so that was the only other thing I think to add.
Okay, thank you. Right, well then I think I will now open the floor to questions. So I'm going to start with councillors.
I guess, are there any of those streets that quite narrow pavement? How, well, some of them have got quite narrow pavements. How did you envisage being on the road with the bicycle or on the pavement? Yeah, what's your plan when there's a narrow pavement?
So we would be very careful not to obstruct places. I think thinking about the city centre, places like St Michael's Street are a little bit quieter. I don't know quite who owns the bit of land outside the Blavatnik, but that's obvious. It might be university land, I'm not sure, but that's a bit wider. So we'd be looking for spots that are less narrow because we wouldn't want to cause an obstruction. Up in Summertown, it's a bit easier. So the bit up on the corner of by OX2 on the corner of South Parade is again wider. So it would be keeping away from the busiest bits. And perhaps slightly down side streets, so it's out of the main rush.
So I'm wondering about shops that might be selling similar stuff to what you've got. Are you going to be, what's your attitude to that going to be? Are you going to be going nowhere near them?
Healthy competition? I don't know.
I mean, I know there's a craft store on the high street. But ultimately it sells different stuff to us. But also if someone's going to sell the same stuff, it's a matter of personal choice for the customer rather than a matter between the two stores. So it's the customer's choice and it's up to them which one they shop at.
Okay. I'm just going to ask officers to clarify something in terms of streets and pavements. Can you give us some clarification in the streets that have been mentioned in the report, whether they would be allowed, whether they're expected to be on the street or on the pavement, or can they be on both?
Well, thank you, Chair. Within the confines of the condition requiring them to not obstruct the highway in any way, or the passage of traffic down the pavement or the highway, yes, they can either set up on the road or on the street unless we restrict them otherwise.
The road or the pavement?
The road or the pavement, sorry, yes. It's all the street, yes.
Matt, and the Bond Square's on this list, does that come with any, I don't know if I've ever seen Street Tractor there. Does the university like to have any conditions around that road? How much of it is the highway? And
Thank you, Chair. The Bond Square. Not to my knowledge, Chair. Not that we don't have the same restrictions like we do on Broad Street or Bond Square on Radcliffe Square. The usual caveats surrounding obstruction would have to be observed.
Okay, but we don't think permission will be needed from the university.
If it's university on land, then it would definitely be needed from the university.
Okay.
We couldn't, the consent wouldn't have effect on areas of land that we don't have responsibility for.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, James.
Do you have any plan as to how frequently you're going to be going to certain areas or where you'll be moving throughout the city when you have the store?
So I think in the run up to Christmas, it would be a lot to make the most of kind of higher footfall and so on. And then the rest of the year, other than in holiday periods, it'd be 2 to 3 hours on each weekend day, one day in Summertown and one day in town. Because she's got to work.
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yes, so, sorry, excuse me, but I just want to check, you're Annabelle. You're Annabelle. I think we've got the wording slightly wrong in our report, and you're Lucy. You're Lucy.
Yeah.
And this is your sister. Your,
My daughter.
your daughter.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, I think we've got the wording wrong in
The
our,
wording's right.
oh, but the application is
To
fine.
allow her mother, so that's Annabelle, and her mother, Lucy, and the 14-year-old sister's not here.
Right, I see. Yes, my apologies.
Nah, quite like that.
Okay. So we need to ask about employment and employing sort of minors. Can you tell us what your plans are?
So B will only do it if we've got the appropriate consents. She loves chatting and loves doing the festivals in the summer, but we would be doing it on a voluntary basis. It's really Annabelle's business. She's registered as the sole trader with HMRC. I've got too many jobs. I'm just going to help her out if she needs an extra hand, but
Yeah, it would be primarily me, and then my sister can choose to help, or she can, for example, when we went to festivals, she tagged along so she could go experience the festival rather than help with the selling. And then she would occasionally come back to the stall to put down whatever she'd brought or things like that, or to talk to me, or if she had friends with her, those friends. But primarily it would be me, and then sometimes my mum, whether that's just for safety in numbers when it gets dark during winter, or just for company.
Okay. And can I ask, am I allowed to ask how old you are? Yes, how old are you?
17.
17, okay, right. Thank you. So just another question then about employing your sister, because my understanding is that you would have to actually employ her and have the license to do that. So can you tell us about your intentions?
I think you would start off doing it without her if need be, because it sounds like it's going to be a lot more complicated than we had anticipated. So I think probably without her for now.
Okay, I'm just going to clarify with officers. Does that mean we need to remove that bit from the application?
Yes, Chair, we can, if the applicant wants to remove B Hannington as a registered employer, then certainly they can do, yeah.
Or we could apply for the necessary permissions if it's not going to delay things, whichever's easiest. I don't mind.
So would it also be possible if we leave her on there, but say they can't use her until they get the necessary permissions, because otherwise then they'd need to come back here to get her when they get the necessary permissions. That just seems like it's going to add a lot more fluff to the process.
I think, Chair, either way would work, because when we register new employees, we don't come back to the committee with that employee unless there's a very strong reason to. On the ordinary course of things, we wouldn't come back to the committee, we just register them.
In that case, it'd be great to leave her on, because in due course, I think it's something she'd get a lot out of as well. But yeah.
So just to explicitly clarify, you've not applied to the county council for the license or anything like that. Do you know when you might do that? Would it be at the moment that your application gets approved, essentially?
Yeah, we'd be keen to get going as soon as possible. We've got quite a lot of stock, and yeah, want to make the most of Christmas shopping and so on.
So it's more like an observation that employees are employed and therefore should be paid, should be remunerated, and there's obviously a legal minimum wage, and we also have an Oxford living wage which we encourage employers to pay their employees, whether they're their mum or sister or whatever, that rate, which is significantly higher. I don't think we can insist that you do that, but we'd like to think that you would do that to recognise that it's more expensive probably for your mum living in Oxford than many parts of the country.
I think, yeah, I'm perfect. I just want to facilitate her learning about life and helping Jana and Sasha. So yeah, I don't really want paying for it. I want her to do it, but yeah, she would pay her sister. in due course, if I suspect. Yeah. Although at the minute she's registered as with HMRC, as we would both be doing it voluntarily and she would be the sole trader.
No, Chair, there's no problems with that. What we're consenting is the business of selling things on the street, and the bits behind that, how the people who sell the items pay themselves is not so much our concern, as long as it remains fair for the public and doesn't cause any illegalities or anything like that. But if
It's got to comply with the license conditions, though.
yes, yeah, of course, yeah.
Whatever's being proposed must. Sorry, whatever's being proposed mustn't be a breach of those conditions. And one of the conditions, or two of the conditions, are 21 and 22. The consent holder may employ any other person to assist and shall notify the council of the name and address of that person. And anyone who operates a stall other than the consent holder must be authorised by the council. So those conditions would have to be satisfied.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so in order to meet the conditions of the license, we need to know now at this meeting, we need to decide who is going to be on, who you want on that and who you don't.
Should we put all three of us on and then,
I
shall we?
think just me and you, because we can't
Okay.
do it on her own.
But then we have to change it.
No, 'cause she can't do it on her own.
Yeah. Is it administratively easiest if we put all three of us down, but agree to only use B if she's appropriately licensed and got the approval letter from school?
Well, I think it might be easier if you have two now, considering that the third doesn't have to come back to the committee.
Sure, I would agree with that. I would say that we might end up in a more difficult position if we issue a consent that goes in advance of permission given by the county council for a child working.
Okay, so would that be acceptable?
Yeah,
if you're
completely.
both on the?
Yeah. Thank you.
Understood. Okay. Oh, it's very complicated. Red tape. Okay. Any more questions from councillors? Any more questions from officers?
Yes, Chair, just one. I think I'd probably like to hear from the applicant some of the processes that you'll be using to make what we would call a dynamic risk assessment, but in reality is looking around to see that you're safe. If you could just outline for the committee, because one of the concerns that I think come to my mind is that you set up in a location that is safe where you can be seen, but it doesn't obstruct the passage of people going down the street or traffic going down the street. So if you just describe to us what you're going to look for, what sort of gap you're going to leave on the pavement for people to get past, and what sort of space you're going to look for if you do set up on the side of a road. Thank you.
So preferably if we are setting up on the pavement, there will be depending on how big the pavement is, either enough for one person with space to walk past the bike whilst on the pavement, and or if possible two, because it depends on the size of the pavement. When setting up on the side of the road, it would be preferable that there was little to no traffic generally. For example, Radcliffe Square doesn't have any traffic, or the High Street, it only has the occasional like commercial van. And then always making sure that you are visible to any possible traffic and bikes as well, and making sure that you're not obstructing any and all traffic, foot traffic or vehicles.
And I think we would go around in advance and pick out spots that were basically safe rather than necessarily the highest footfall areas, because that's more important overall for us than getting the most sales.
Thank you, Chair. I think by way of advice, when we're looking at other areas of licensing, we ask for a minimum of 1.2 to 2 metres of space to allow people using wheelchairs to get past and other walking aids between any obstruction and the curb as a minimum. And I think the other thing that I'd be thinking of very strongly as well is a lot of the trading is going to be in the hours of darkness. So I'd make sure that, and the committee might like to consider some conditions surrounding lighting, which we don't normally put on, but that the bike itself is well lit and perhaps has some reflective materials on it, and that maybe you as the operator would consider wearing some reflective materials or not having it around and about. Because if you do set up on the side of the road, you know, that there is a risk attached to that if you can't be seen. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, any further questions? Yes.
Just one in relation to Bond Square and Broad Street. Is the applicant aware of what the requirements are?
Chair, I should probably just run through those. Now in Bond Square, in the actual square bit of Bond Square, that land is managed by the City Council for the purpose of holding events. And in order to trade on that square bit, although it might be a bit of mountain biking to get your bike up the steps, you have to take a run up perhaps. But that space is managed by us and has to be booked out specifically in order to allow trading or anything to take place on there. And that's because so many people do want to go on there. And there are a lot of events going on through November and December, as you'd imagine. And so it's very unlikely that you would be able to trade there on the square itself. And in Broad Street, as I mentioned at the head of the meeting, there's the Oxford Christmas event. And I would say that Broad Street trading on those is probably not possible. If you did want to trade there, I would contact the event organizer for the Oxford Christmas event and ask if they've got a spare stand there or if they can fit you in. That'd be a completely separate arrangement. They hold a separate street trading consent to allow that event to take place. And they'll definitely be on the phone to us if they see somebody else popping up and who they don't expect. Thank you, Chair.
Question from
Matt, potentially. I mean, some of these other, this is a application for all year round, isn't it? Some of these roads might have other events, well, like St Giles obviously, but might have other events at other times of years. How would we sort of is there a way of wording that to sort of avoid getting in the way of other events that get arranged for the road to be closed and have, I don't know, whatever, parade or something? Or there's often quite a lot of things in Broad Street, aren't there? I think not just at Christmas.
No, quite right, Chair. There are Broad Street is frequently booked for events, and rightly so. And there are consented traders already on Broad Street that we issue a consent to. And so what we could condition it on other licenses. We have conditions preventing the use of the license during events in that area. So we could place a condition on it preventing it from being used whilst there is another event taking place in that area. That would be possible. It would act as a sort of blanket to take it through the year. And this license would be issued to expire in line with our policy on the in time for the 1st of April, in line with our single renewal dates. But of course, then if it was working, you would look to renew it, and it would then become an annual license that came into force on the weekends when you wanted it.
Okay, thank you. So you've heard, so obviously I'm immediately thinking of St Giles Fair, things like that. So, and I don't think it would probably be appropriate for you to be selling at St Giles Fair. So we may look to sort of add in conditions as advised by our officers about, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely happy with that. And we wouldn't want to impinge on things like the North Parade stalls or anything like that either. So yeah, we're very happy with any limitation like that.
Chair, if I could add for the benefit of the applicant, as I mentioned for the Broad Street event, if you do want to be attached to an event, and you've already traded out the Pride Festival, you said, exactly the same as that. If you're in touch with the organiser, they will be selling spots for traders to be at. They have their own consent, and that's the way to do that, to avoid any unfortunate conflict occurring.
We definitely don't want to step on toes with it.
Okay, any final questions? No, no, no. Okay, so this is now officers and yourselves both get a last opportunity to sum up or to say anything that you feel you have a burning desire to tell us that you haven't already told us, or just to remake your case. So if you'd like to do your summing up now.
I don't think we've got anything else to add, but thank you ever so much for considering it, and yeah, much appreciated.
Okay, thank you. And officers, would you like to sum up?
Thank you, Chair. I think from mine, I think the applicant agreed to remove B. Hannington from the application. I think that's correct. I think that's the safest way to proceed. But if we do receive an application to register a child with the appropriate child employment licence, then we can do so without coming back to the committee. I think if the committee could give special consideration to the visibility of the unit whilst it's trading, and in the night time, I think that will be a good way to mitigate some risk. And rightly so, I think avoiding events that are already taking place is another worthwhile condition on a peripatetic trading licence that's proposed to go in the town centre.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I'll ask officers and the applicants to leave the room and we will debate. we have deliberated and we have agreed to grant you the licence until the 31st of March with the standard conditions. We also have added 3 additional conditions, which I'll just read out to you. 1, that B. Harrington is removed as an employee. 2, that the licence holder will not trade at locations where there are events taking place unless you gain permission from the event organiser. And 3, that you ensure that in the hours of darkness, the tricycle stroke stall is well lit. So those are the 3 conditions. So congratulations, and we wish you lots of luck.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
Isn't that lovely? Thank you.
Yes, just give me a minute to finish writing this one up. I just for Annabelle. I think the next 2 are going to be
Really quick.
very quick. Yes. Okay, yes, let's go. Thank you. Welcome, come in, take a seat. Okay, we're going to start by introducing everybody around the table. So my name's Councillor Lois Muddiman. I'm the chair of the panel making the decision tonight, and the other councillors are.
Councillor Sam Martino.
Councillor James Taylor.
And on this side, we have our licensing team, who are officers of the City Council.
My name is Matt Stead. I'm the Senior Licensing Officer for Miscellaneous Licensing.
Alessandra Ruggirello, Business Regulation Compliance Officer.
And on this side, we have our.
Tesfa Escard, Legal Advisor.
Ursula Khan, Committee Member Service Officer.
If you'd like to introduce yourself as well.
My name's Maria Reyes, and I'm a local to Oxford.
Okay, the way that we'll run the hearing is that we will hear a report from officers, and when they've finished, you'll have an opportunity to ask them any questions, and we will have an opportunity to ask some questions, and then it'll be your turn to present your case. And again, we'll ask you questions, and the officers may ask you questions, and then you'll both the officers and yourself will get a chance to sum up and say anything that you feel is missing, you haven't yet said, and then at that point we'll ask you and the officers to leave the room while we make a decision. Okay, we're going to start with the officer's report.
Thanks, Chair. This is an application from Maria Reyes Valencia for a static street trading consent to allow her to sell food and hot and cold drinks from a converted horse box. So, the location of the application is on Armstrong Road, Little More, as identified in the plan contained within Appendix 1. There are no road traffic orders that restrict parking on the road in the selected location, so the applicant can park there throughout the proposed trading time without restriction. The applicant wishes to trade Monday, Friday, 8 to 4, and Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 2. The consultation exercise required by the police was carried out. Supporting representation was received from Councillor Stairs and Councillor Correr. Another supporting letter was received with the application from Staff Province of Peabody. The options before the subcommittee are to grant the street trading consent or to grant the street trading consent with imposition of additional conditions other than those contained within the policy, or to refuse the application for a street trading consent. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillors, do you have any questions for officers? No? No? Maria, do you have any questions, having heard the report?
Sorry, can you just confirm the times of the trading again on the report?
Monday, Friday, 8 to 4,
Yeah.
and Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 2.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, no, any further questions? No, all right, thank you. Now, if you'd like to present your case to us.
So as mentioned, it's a horse box cafe selling mostly coffee, tea and cakes to the local area, which I've recently moved into about 3 years ago. I've got this leaflet if you want to have a look. So our main, well, what we're trying to aim to create is a bit of a community feel for the area. So when I moved there, I realised there isn't much around in that small well, crossroad between Sanford and Littlemore. Obviously you've got the Sanford Cafe, which is nice, but it is still a bit of a walk. I have 2 children myself, so I tend to be up and about from 6, 7 in the morning, going for a walk, and it'd be nice to have a bit more of a sense of like something coming in and out of Newman Place. I think I've been part of the neighbourhood committee as well for a long time, and there is a little bit of, I wouldn't say friction, but maybe a little bit of fear with some of the new residents and the mental health hospital. So I think this will create like a nice hub where people can feel like they can leave the complex, you know, in a safe place. And also the same with patients at mental health hospital. They can also come into an area where they can be part of the community, because I mean they do live there. I actually originally wanted to open up a bit more of a sturdy cafe, but it's not very cost effective. So instead I decided to go for a horse box that's easy to tow and pull in. We also aim to be quite eco-friendly, so we don't have a diesel or petrol generator. We run on fully electric. Again, it's part of the ethos of trying to make everything a little bit more eco-friendly in terms of obviously what we're offering as well. It's 100% plant-based food and drink. Most of the ingredients are sourced locally, including our coffee, which is roasted in Oxford, the bakes as well, even our flour, again, it's milled and produced in Oxford. So we're trying to make sure that everything is not coming very far away. And with, hopefully, if we do get the consent, we'd like to maybe get someone else involved, you know, to run it as well. So it's part of a bit more of a community feel. I spoke to various other mums as well in the area that said it would be nice to maybe have a side time job. They can come and run it, you know, in one of the days. And we have spoken with, I think it's there's a reservation building on the left-hand side where a lot of people come in and out, and they did say that, you know, they have to walk all the way to Sainsbury's to get a coffee in Costa or Starbucks. So it'd be nice to have something that's close by without them having to make that long journey. Another part of the Horse Box Cafe is that obviously we like to support our local community for events. So they recently had a Littlemore Fun Day. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the country for that one. Otherwise, I would have tried to attend. But it's something just to bring something to that area, which I feel is a little bit, I mean, I've lived in Oxford for 30 years, in Headington for 25, and I love the community feel, especially in Headington. You know, I've lived on the London Road actually for 25 years. So when I came to Littlemore, I missed that connection and knowing who's around me, you know, the traders, and just in general, just create a nice environment. And I'm hoping to live there for as long as possible with my children. So I'd like to, you know, be part of that. So yeah, this is the start, hopefully, of something new.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions of councillors?
So a question for Matt. So this is just for one person, for one person to work at. So if there are additional people working, they'd have to be added later on. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Any other questions, James? No? No more questions. Officers, do you have questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. We're now at summing up. So if there's anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so. Thank you for highlighting, obviously, that would need to get an added person on, but yeah, that'll probably be in the future. But yeah, it's mostly going to be me, my venture, so I'll be there.
Lovely. Officers, Matt, do you have, sorry.
It's fine. Point of view is fine. Yes.
All right, thank you. So if you and the officers would now like to leave the room while we make a decision. And
Thank
we'll
you.
call you back in shortly. And I particularly would like to thank you for making it as sustainable as possible. I'm very impressed with that.
Thank you, thank you. That's great.
Good luck.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank
Go
you very
make
much.
coffee.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Hello, welcome. Please take a seat. Thank you for waiting. So we will start by letting you know who everybody is. My name's Councillor Lois Muddiman. I'm the chair of the panel making the decision tonight, and my fellow councillors are.
Councillor Sam Martino.
Councillor James Taylor.
And on my left, we have our licensing officers who'll introduce themselves.
I'm Matt Stead, the Senior Licensing Officer for Miscellaneous Licensing.
Alessandra Ruggirello, Business Regulation Compliance Officer.
And on this side, we have our legal team.
Tesfar Eskar, Legal Advisor.
Uswa Khan, Committee Member Service Officer.
And if you'd like to introduce yourselves as well now, please. Oh yeah, please press the button and your light should go red.
Hi, yeah, I'm happy, glad to see you. My name is Hilal Ahmed. Just get that, please. I just want to.
Sorry, just for now, sorry, we just want you to introduce yourself, that's all. And your,
I'm Hassan's friend.
so you're here in support.
Only for you happy because I have a kebab one in town as well.
Okay, all right, thank you. So just to let you know how the session will run, we will hear a report from our officers about your application. When that's finished, then we will have an opportunity to ask questions and you will have an opportunity to ask any questions of the officers. And then it'll be your turn to present your case and tell us about your application. And we will then ask you questions if we have any, and the officers may ask you questions too. And then once that finished, both you and the officers will have an opportunity to say a few final words in case there's something that you feel you've missed already.
Yeah.
And then we'll ask you to leave the room while we make a decision. Okay?
Okay.
So that's what will happen. So we'll begin with the officers' report.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
Change time.
They've all stopped working.
Am I working?
Sure. Have you turned yours off?
Might be.
That was it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. The application, the final item on the agenda tonight is an application from Hilal Ahmed to take on an established street trading location in front of Cowley Workers Sports and Social Club. The premises is called Kairos Street Food, and it is traded previously by the previous consent holder called Mr. Ulla, and he has sold the equipment to Mr. Ahmed. Now, street trading consents cannot be transferred, and so this is why Mr. Ahmed is before us this evening. He must make a new application. Although the Kairos Street Food traded in its in the same guise as currently for the previous 5 years, and although the hours were 11 o'clock in the morning until 1800 in the evening, and the variation here is that Mr. Ahmed now proposes new hours of 11 o'clock till 2200. The appropriate consultation exercise was embarked upon, and we didn't receive any adverse representation. We did receive representation from Thames Fire Police saying that they didn't have any objections to the proposal as contained within the report. And so all that remains for me to do is to commend the report to the committee and outline the options, which are they may grant the street trading consent upon the terms that have been applied for. They can impose additional conditions, or they can refuse the application for consent. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Do councillors have any questions for officers?
Well, again, same question again. This is just one employee, one person working there for an 11-hour shift every day.
Yes, Chair, the application is only for one person, but as previously, when the applicant wishes to register new employees, the form is on our website, and providing the documentation that is provided is correct. And that is to say, they've got the right to work, they've got the relevant food hygiene certification, and if they were going later into the evening would require a DBS check, then we would register them without returning to the committee, and it would be an administrative procedure.
I suppose, given this starting with one person, are there anything in our policy about the length of a shift without a break?
Chair, there isn't anything in the policy about the length of the shift, and we can't require them to be open for the entirety of that shift either.
Okay, James, have any questions? Do you have any questions about the report that you've heard?
Tell me about it. About the one person saying it, picture another one. Another year. Yes, definitely. When I register, change my name, then I will get another employer as well with me. So I'm just waiting to change it to my name, then I don't have any problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now it's your opportunity to put your case to the committee and tell us about your application.
Yes, I mean, there is a lot people they're asking for to increase the time. Even I do have some proof I bring for the people to sign it for increasing the time. A lot demand for the people because we have our left side is a club. Sometimes there is a game. Even the people when they are coming, they are a lot again asking them to please stay till night because there is no any other place to eat. And so we do have a proof. I mean, they sign it to show you. And yes, that's why I'm here to stay till at least 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Yeah, please.
Okay, all right. Is that all you'd like to say at this point? We'll move into questions if you've, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So councillors, any questions for the applicant?
What will you do if you see the things that you've been selling, the plates, the knives, the forks scattered around nearby?
Same, yeah, will be the same thing. Like the same as whatever it is at right now, the same food we sell. And the future we do have to change it, maybe like kebab, which is which kebab is doner kebab and chicken kebab is what we do have planned for that.
And the question I was asking was about litter.
Yeah.
If you see the things that you've sold left nearby, what will you do? If you see plates or knives and forks or spoons left?
Oh, we do have a bin actually, yeah. We have to clear. Of course, this is, I do have, I mean, in the past, I do have experience. I have to clear everything, but we have to clean all the area, which is, if you see anything, collect it. And we do have a bin, of course, yeah. We have to put in safe way, which is a bin, yeah.
And how far down the road will you go to clear up?
All around whatever I can see, because again, we as a community, to be safe as something we see, especially for inside, we do have animals, and if we see anything, we will collect it too. Yeah.
So I'm assuming the list of people in support that you have there hasn't been handed in, and so we haven't so it's not part of the application. Chair, with your permission, could we read this?
We would like to. Should I
That's
bring
okay.
it?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
See, many people, they write their detail here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask you just very briefly have you run a catering stall before? Have you any experience?
Experience in the past, yes, I did have a restaurant, and I also, yeah, I do have experience at the same time. He also, he helping me. He do have the one again in just not far from here, but yes, I can do because I'm a good shape as well. Yeah, so at the same time, in the future, as I say, I will find another friend for like as an employer to see, and I do have a plan to just wanted to increase the time and so.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, councillors?
Sure.
I'll have a look at that. Thank you.
This is in relation to the trading hours. What are the standard trading hours under the license conditions?
Do you mean the ones in the policy?
Yes.
Yes, it will go beyond the ones in the policy, so it's different to what the policy proposes. So in order to grant the request, the council would have to determine that it was okay to issue and extend, because the trading hours ordinarily are, I'm following my words, Must be getting on to the evening. The trading hours normally would be from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening, and then setting up from 6:30 until 3 o'clock in the morning or on normal nighttime hours. Now,
Is that all days?
that's for St Albans. That's the ones in the town centre go for those hours. Now, it may well be that there's good reasons why you wouldn't want the early hours of the morning in this location, and why the sports and social club wouldn't want that on the front, because this is private land, and I can see in the sports and social club agreement they've agreed until 10 o'clock in the evening. But yeah, normally we'd just say evening hours would be 6:30 until 3, and then daytime hours finish at 6. So this would span those hours from 11 until 10. So it'd be a little bit of both.
Sorry, so would it be 11 to 6 p.m. and then 8:30 to 10, sorry, 6:30 to 10?
I don't think that's the intention of the application. I don't think there'll be a break in trading at 6 until 6:30. I think they would be intending to trade all the way through.
And can I ask if does that have any issues? Is that at our discretion to grant, or are there any issues? So normally another street trading van in St Aldate's would stop trading for half an hour, is that correct?
It's normally that that's the changeover period between any daytime trader and the evening traders. So for example, in St Aldate's, there is a daytime trader that uses the same spot as the evening trader, and that's the sort of switch out time.
But are there any issues for us as the licensing authority?
In relation to this, there are no issues that present themselves in relation to that.
Thank you.
The biggest issue will be the consent of the club, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay. If you've got anything else that you'd like to tell us, you don't need to, but if there's anything else you'd like to say in support of your application, now's the time.
Because this is the previous license, it just shows my friend, he said the time is, which is 8:30 to, but I tell him we already explained that, which is from 11 to 10 o'clock or 9:30 evening because of that club. That's it. Yeah, thanks. No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Officers, have you got anything to say in final words?
Chair, the only thing I would probably want the applicant to outline for the panel is whether there's any additional measures that they have in relation to, or any systems they might put in place for alerting people in the event of nuisance being caused by the later opening hours. So do you have a contact in the club? Does the club have SIA door staff that can be called upon? Do you have a good relationship with them? So tell me what would happen if nuisance is starting to develop, even though it isn't particularly late into the evening.
Yes, I do have a permission from them, which is like time agreement with them. And yes, I do have that, but they allowed me to open it till late. We don't have any issue with them. Yet we do have a paper from them, yeah.
I think we're looking for a little bit more information about if there was a fight or some antisocial behaviour at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Do you have how would you deal with it? Would you be able to seek help from the club? Do they have bouncers or doormen? What would you do in the event of there being some antisocial behaviour at sort of 9:30 in the evening?
Already they do have their own security guard or something that, but usually they already, they help us. We know them. And at the same time, we don't see any, issue from that. They are nice people. We believe them, that's it. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just confirming, you have a good relationship
Yeah.
with the club owners?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you would seek their help?
Yeah, yeah. Even that's why most of the signature you see, that's from them. They say, please stay. And they will look after us, we will look after them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any final questions?
Oh, thank you, Chair. That was it. And it can be noted that giving people food after they've had a drink can be a calming thing as well. So I wouldn't want it taken the wrong way.
Okay, thank you. If you'd like to leave the room, and we will make a decision. Okay, thank you. for your new venture. We have one condition that we're adding to the licence, and that is that you, as the licence holder, carry out a litter pick of the area between Barnes Road and Oxford Road on the side of the road that your vehicle is on at the end of every evening shift. And we just want to remind you, this is not a condition, but we need to remind you that if you have any additional employees, you need to register them with the council. And it's also a condition for all street traders that you don't use single-use plastic. So no plastic containers or plastic forks, spoons, etc. Okay? All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and congratulations and good luck.